It's time for the last race of the 2003 GP4.1 season. Round 16 out of 16, and we still have 3 drivers in contention to win the championship here at Interlagos in Brazil. Leading the championship is Sean Sutherland on 58 points, Etienne Jones on 56 points just behind, and Leighton de Choutenay on 51, also with that outside chance. Let's take a look at our grid for the race. So all 3 of them actually, all 3 of our title contenders qualifying in the top 3. Leighton de Choutenay, our pole sitter, Etienne Jones, 2nd place, Sean Sutherland, 3rd place. So our reverse top 3 basically in the championship. Followed by Miguel Marvero qualifying 4th place, Shane Odiemi 5th, Kingsley Kamisoto 6th, Ben Jones, McLaren Dreisig, Tommy Toth, Alex Loldemex, David Panot, so generally not a great qualifying for McLaren, but he has just been renewed at the team. Maybe Ron Dennis will be having second thoughts about that one. Sam Nathaniel 12th, Michael Clark 13th, Constant Skywalker 14th, in her last race at Jaguar, Leo Goria 15th, Daniel Duarte 16th place at his last race at BAR. Jordi Alvarez, Jacob Hill, John O'Sotzdale and Ronan McAndrew in 20th with the 2 arrows at the back as usual, and it's going to be a dry race at Brazil. But generally I force Brazil to be dry because it's just so much better when it's dry, in this game at least. So, here we are for the final grid of the 2003 season, the final start. It's been a long journey, over only 10 days, or not even that, 9 days. Here we go then. Who will get the better start out of Leighton and Etienne? Looks like Leighton de Choutenay gets away well, but Etienne will have a look down the inside. It looks like he can't get through. In fact, he's going to have to watch out for Sean Sutherland now on his outside, but it looks like they slot in the same positions they started. Leighton already has a brilliant lead here. Miguel Marvero actually taking a look at Leighton de Choutenay, possibly which would help his teammate. But here, oh sorry, Sean Sutherland even. But here he comes on the inside, possibly. Now he has to look out for Miguel Marvero. It looks like he will keep 3rd place. Kingsley Kamisoto up to 5th from Shane Odiemi. McLaren Dreisig, Tommy Toth into 8th place. Bad start there from Ben Jones. And it looks like they have all settled into their order for the race for now. Leighton de Choutenay already leading by 1.6 seconds over Etienne Jones. And if it was to finish like this, Leighton would finish on 61 points, Etienne Jones on 64, and Sean also on 64, but Sean would take the title after having more wins. There's Simon Nathaniel though, off the track. Both Renaults out of the race. What has happened here? We'll have to take a look. It happened. Oh, just Simon Nathaniel. Someone got really slow out of that corner. I'm not quite sure what happened. There's Ben Jones who got onto that curb, bad exit. Sometimes just rear-ended the Jaguar of Constant Skywalker, and Michael Clark driving into the back of Michael Clark with Leo Goria and driving into the back of his teammate. Does Daniel Duarte get damage as well? No, he doesn't actually. So just a few drivers caught up in that one there. But yeah, as I was saying, Sean Sutherland would take the title at this time due to having more wins. I should probably check that one though. So that's what I will do now. Meanwhile, further behind, there's McLaren Dreisig making a move on Shane Odiemi. McLaren Dreisig still hasn't been confirmed anywhere for next year, mostly due to the fact he hasn't really been active in the sim, but he could still keep his seat for 2004. We'll have to see what happens. And everyone else, no battles down the field for now. Leo Goria's car just kind of in the middle of the track. That might Leighton chooses to go right. Well, they all, yep. That is really awkwardly parked there from Leo Goria. And eventually, his car will be cleared. I'm not gonna lie, I did see Leighton Deschutes crashing into the side of Leo Goria there for a minute, but it didn't happen. And yes, Sean Sutherland does have 3 wins to Etienne Jones's 1. So Sean Sutherland would win the championship if it was to finish like this. And of course, the arrows will make sure it almost certainly doesn't. And now David Panayot, who qualified poorly, is looking to make his way up the order today. Down the inside of the Sauber of Alex Aldermex, the 2 Romanians going at it. David Panayot up to 10th place as he searches for points in his final race this season. Miguel Oliveira recently renewed at Williams, which he will be pleased with, as he also runs 4th, proving exactly why. At worst, he's a good number 2 for Williams, and at best, he could possibly mount a championship charge himself, as he very nearly did this year, just needed a bit of luck. And now Sean Sutherland, actually helped out by that arrows, is going to look down the inside of turn 1. He takes 2nd place. Etienne Jones has a problem. Etienne Jones has a problem with his car. Oil leak. Oh, the main, well, this year's main title contender all year. His engine's burning up. He's going to be out of this race. He's going to have to retire the car. Oh, absolute scenes here in Brazil. Etienne Jones then will not win the championship this year, and the other Williams of Miguel Oliveira will park up. He's had a transmission problem, I believe. So both Williams on the same lap out of the race. Unbelievable. So it's going to be a Ferrari World Drivers' Champion and a Ferrari Constructors' Champion as well. So Ferrari have won the double, but which Ferrari will it be? And now Etienne Jones really holding up some drivers through the field. He parks it up finally in the Sao Paulo banner. That'll put Kingsley Camisoto on the podium now. Oh, that is horrible for Williams there. They thought they had a chance to do something quite good this year, and they'll come away empty-handed. Especially Etienne Jones, who you've got to feel bad for him, who has been leading the championship all year, but one engine failure has ruined it all for him. And now Ferrari look set for another 1-2, just like in America. David Panayot with a last-minute move takes a look at Ben Jones. It wasn't going to happen. He backed out of that one, thankfully. Well, Tommy Toth now. Shane Odiemi, another position for him to lose. Tommy Toth will pull to the inside towards turn 4. So does David Panayot behind him. Tommy Toth up into 5th place. David Panayot up into 7th place. And now here's the arrows of Big Shaq. That's not a good place to run into a moving chicane, as we saw in the pre-season race. Will Leighton be able to survive? He does. He wisely just backs out of that one. He's losing so much time though. Sean Sutherland's basically caught up to both of them now. He'll be so happy about that one from Big Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal just helped him out even more in his charge to win the title. And now David Panayot is the next driver who will look at overtaking Shane Odiemi. He does so before turn 1 even comes. Panayot taking 6th place. Duarte in his own little world in 10th place, and the back markers 11th to 13th. The Minardi of Jake Hamel seems to have disappeared. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. It seems he had a suspension problem. Maybe we can look at that. I'm not sure where he went. Oh, it must have been a while ago, because the replay cams didn't catch it either. Fair enough. And now that gap between Leighton Deschutes and Sean Sutherland is only 1 second compared to a few more before. In fact, Leighton Deschutes hasn't won a race once this season. Came second 5 times, including last race in America, when it was a Ferrari 1-2 led by Sean Sutherland, but he himself still hasn't won a race this year. Maybe he could change that here in Brazil. As Alex Laldermeck's now closing in on the back of Shane Odiemi. Shane Odiemi has a problem actually, he's put it in the wall. Transmission problem, that was sudden. That will put his teammate into the points. This is his last race with BAR. His form has picked up a lot lately though, which is why he has got a contract at Sauber. So things are looking up for the Spaniard for 2004. You see Big Shaq having to pit for some reason. Yellow flags at turn 4 for what this time? I'm not exactly sure. How have they just been there the whole? They have just been there the whole time. I'm not sure if they'll ever clear them. Is it just for the? I'm trying to look what for. It's a Sauber. Oh, the Saubers are gone. I'm telling you, if I've missed out a whole ass collision with a Sauber, Ben Jones seems to have retired at some point. Well, Ben Jones is kind of the forgotten driver of the sim. He's just out there. Looks like it would be a reliability problem for him. Possibly a crash, I don't really know. I guess when the race is played back I can take a closer look at what happened. It seems though, this race has been really chill for Ferrari. They haven't had much to worry about so far. And Ferrari and Sean Sutherland will now be on 66 points by the end of this race to Leighton Deschutes his 61 points. He'll actually end up taking second in the championship, so it will be a Ferrari 1-2. The season was not dominant at all for Ferrari, but it will look that way at least. As now Sean Sutherland catching the back of Big Shaq. There's one way to lose the championship, is to run into the back of the arrows, and he does that. He will have to pit. He gets damaged. Sean Sutherland will have to pit. Has this just handed the championship into Leighton's hands from nowhere? Kingsley Kamisoto up to second place. Will Sean Sutherland be able to salvage points? So he's currently on 58 points. So if he finishes 6th or above, then he will still be the world champion. But he's going to have to pit. It's going to be a lot of work to get 6th in just a few laps. There's also the Jaguar of Tommy Toth. What's happened to him? Transmission problem. Again, more reliability for the Jaguar driver, who just, it hasn't gone his way lately. Or at all this season, really. He has got 3 podiums, though. So, let's hope for better luck in 2004. Is Sean Sutherland now in 6th place in the pits? There's 6th place, Daniel Duarte just driving past him right now. He might be out in front of Ronan McAndrew, who's in 8th or soon to be 7th. It won't look like it though. Looks like he's going to be behind all the back markers, in fact, in 9th, 10th place even. But he can still do it if there's enough crashes up and down the field, or if something bad happens to Leighton Deschutes here. And it looks like Pano will get clear of that arrows. Alex Loldemex as well, just about getting through. Will Daniel Duarte be lucky and not hit the back of the arrows? I think he will be. Yeah, he's not close enough this lap. And Ronan McAndrew once again leading the back markers as he always does, including that amazing win in Hungary. So 5 laps to go now, and it looks like Leighton Deschutes is going to be our championship winner if it stands like this. Sean Sutherland has just been completely wiped out by that arrows, and that means the title is going to go the way of the Belgian Leighton Deschutes, who hasn't even won a race yet this year. He'll ruin that streak in Brazil, it looks like, but I didn't see that one coming. He had a pretty rough start to the season, and then some good form in the middle, albeit still quite unlucky, especially with a few crashes, a few retirements. Famously crashed with his teammate, of course, in Japan. I don't know if there's tensions in the Shaunton relationship or if everything's okay. And now Jono Solsdale, lucky not to be taken out by Shaquille O'Neal there. Yeah, I don't know how the Shaunton relationship is, whether it's as good as it was in the old sim or if it's quite, I don't know, competitive, toxic, I don't really know. And all of a sudden, McLaren's 2nd and 4th after that dreadful qualifying. I'll be pleased with that one. Ronan McAndrew hits into the back of Brandon Liu, and that will be him having to pit. Possible double points for Jordan. Jordi Alvarez actually overtaking Jono Solsdale there with a very, very spontaneous move, and actually dive bombing the arrows and Ronan McAndrew. Also in a very spontaneous move, gets up on the glass, but it will still work out for him. Jono Solsdale actually hitting into the back of Ronan McAndrew there. So never mind, not double points for the for Jordan anymore. McLaren's Racing also out the race. What's happened to him? A transmission problem as well. So that's 3 places to be gained for Sean Sutherland, who will now be in 7th place with 4 laps to go. I believe so anyway. There he goes. He's running 10th. Actually gets unlapped by Brandon Liu. But yeah, here's Sean Sutherland now running in 7th place. All he needs to do is gain 1 position, and that will be the championship for him. Leighton Deschutes once again needs to be worried now. Constant Skywalker also re-enters the points. All he needs to do is catch Jordi Alvarez, who's actually only a few seconds up the road. Something like 3 seconds, or 5 seconds even. Leighton Deschutes second the fastest lap. That's all he can do for now. Pan now in 3rd place. What has happened to the 3rd place runner? Oh, of course, it was McLaren Dreisig, who was actually running 3rd before his failure. So very unfortunate for him. And what could be his last GP4 race. There's Ronan McAndrew coming out the pits, a lap down from Leighton Deschutes now. 3 laps to go, or 2.5 now actually. Can this man bring it home? Or will it go the way of Sean Sutherland? He just needs 1 more position. If anything bad happens to any of these 6 drivers at the top, Sean Sutherland is our world champion. So Leighton just needs to pray that everyone keeps their nose out of trouble. Which doesn't look like Jono Solsdale is doing, as Leighton might even find himself being held up a little by the Jordan. It's now a McLaren double podium also. Just 2 and a bit laps to go now. Leighton Deschutes, let's go on board with him as we go towards lap 13. Will it be his championship or will it not be his championship? 2 laps to go now. Can Sean Sutherland do it? Oh no, he won't. No, he won't do it. He's had a transmission failure as well. He is going to have to park it in the wall. His championship dream is over. Leighton Deschutene is our world champion unless something bad happens to him. He's running towards the back of that arrow right now. Oh, he's quite a dangerous part of the track actually. Coming towards the back of Brandon Liu. If he manages to keep this out, keep his nose out of trouble, then he's our world champion. But if he hits into the back of Brandon Liu, then no longer is he our world champion. And will he? He does avoid the back of Brandon Liu somehow there, which most drivers aren't able to do. John O'Sullivan though actually unlapping himself. But Leighton losing so much time. But whatever, he's just going to be so happy he hasn't been taken out by their arrows. He's driving so cautiously. All he wants is that world championship. It looks like he's going to get it. He just has to negotiate one lap, which will now be in clear air. Not a single car in sight until the Jaguar of Constant Skywalker, who's now entering Sector 2. He may have dropped 4 seconds to Kingsley Kamisoto on that lap, but he does not care. He is going to be our world champion in just 2/3 of a lap, as long as he can hold it here. Amazing, amazing stuff from Leighton Deschutene, the man who you least expected it from 2 races ago, who was in 6th in the championship, and he's just taken the championship lead for the first time this year at the last race. 61 points to his teammates' 58. David Pannell, actually, I forgot, he will possibly be in a good position after this race as well. Obviously he can't win the championship anymore, but he will be, oh no, he will still be 4th. But, I mean, not a half bad season from David Pannell either. But Leighton Deschutene, he will come round the final corner of the Interlagos circuit. He is going to be our race winner for the first time this season and our world champion in the process. Amazing stuff from the Belgian, who has taken the 2003 title out of absolutely nowhere. Leighton Deschutene has done it for Belgium, for Ferrari, for himself. The 2 McLarens completing that podium, Ferrari taking the World Constructors' Championship. Alex Lodomex with a very impressive 4th place. Daniel Duarte in 5th. Jordi Alvarez will actually get 6th place. His first points for a while. His first points actually in only in 3 or 4 races. Constant Skywalker 7th place despite his her incident earlier in the race, and John Salzburg a lap down will actually get 8th place, so it is double points for Jordan in the end. But would you look at that, out of nowhere, Leighton Deschutene is the world champion. He's led from pole or lights to flag basically. That's, well, has he got the fastest lap? He has taken the first Grand Slam in GP4 in the process of becoming world champion. Fully deserved there from Leighton Deschutene, who's often been not that lucky. He's made a couple of mistakes this year, but he's more than learnt from them. Look at, he won by 9 seconds in the end. It could have been more if he wasn't caught up by those arrows, but yeah, Sean Sutherland's so unlucky. I mean, he wouldn't have got P6 in the end anyway, unless he'd managed to catch 5 seconds in 3 laps, which is quite hard. He would have finished 7th place, which would possibly been more frustrating for him. Etienne and Miguel Marvero both eliminated from the running on the same lap at the same time. Etienne Jones, who was in a good position for it, completely gone as well. He probably would have been a world champion had Sean Sutherland not had he not had his oil leak, since Sean Sutherland was taken out. Yeah, Thank you very much for watching. I'm ready to do it all again next season. It's been a great season. We will see you for round 1 in a week or two. Thanks for joining us.